start with Yoruba Saxon, the company I have with my wife Jess. We've had that for over 10 years. The company was born out of necessity rather than something that we absolutely felt the need to do, because we needed a mechanism for making the things that we wanted to make. And Yoruba Saxon, I'm of the Yoruba tribe in Nigeria. She's Anglo-Saxon. We felt that that reflected the fact that we think of ourselves as global citizens. We want to tell specific stories universally to a global audience. And for her as a woman, for me as a person of color, the reality is that our stories have traditionally been marginalized, being of those demographics. And so I truly believe that the way for story to have cultural impact is to see all sides of humanity, not primarily one demographic, which tends to a lot of the time be white middle class men. And they tell great stories, and we've all grown up with those stories. But there's so much more to explore, and that's what Yoruba Saxon is set up to do, and that's what we've been doing. And Mansa, the streaming platform that I co-founded with Nate Parker, is also born out of necessity. Nate has made extraordinary films like Birth of a Nation, American Skin. I directed a film called The Waterman, and what happens is you make these films, you lovingly put together the money, you lovingly make the film, and then you hand it over to someone who doesn't have the same level of connection or passion about the project, and it's like having a baby and then instantaneously giving it to someone else and saying, please look after them.
Wow.
And that, more often than not, sometimes they look after it well, but a lot of the times they don't. And a lot of the times, if there's any benefit, from a financial standpoint, they're making way more than you, the artist, are. And so we wanted to create a platform where there was a rev share model whereby artists can actually participate in the remuneration that comes from what they make, and a platform that also really is engaged with platforming artists who are marginalized elsewhere.
Incredible. So how can artists essentially approach Mansa? Like, is it something as an open call? Are you guys going and curating the content?
If they go to mansa.com, we're very, very accessible. You can DM us on our IG page and things like that. And we're looking to partner with people who are looking to be disruptive, people who are platform agnostic. We're looking at long form, short form podcasts, user generated content. Because that's where the puck is going. People, I look at my kids and they are very much outside of what I had growing up, an hour and a half to 2 hour movie or episodic television that a new episode airs every week. That is just not their understanding at all. And so it's a kind of an adapt or die approach that we're taking, which is to meet the audience where they're at, both the creatives and the audience themselves, the global audience.
I mean, this endeavor and your production company and films at large are so entrepreneurial. Like, where did you gain the grit? Because a lot of talent don't move into, well, I'm going to make my own stories and then I'm going to make sure it gets seen. I mean, the holistic nature of your approach to try to have the impact you want. Like, where did you kind of first glean or get insights to become the entrepreneur that you are?
It's out of necessity. I didn't go to business school or anything like that. Yourself as a parent, nothing can quite prepare you for being a parent, but you have to learn very quickly. And some people are more successful than others. And I think it's, you get in you get out what you put in. And for me, being a producer, being entrepreneurial, it's tied to the passion I have for storytelling. It's tied to the impact and the godly calling I feel to tell stories. And so I feel like that's something I have to steward.
Yeah.
And there are real gaps in my knowledge that I've had to kind of fill. And then there are things that come more naturally to me. Running a tech company does not come naturally to me at all. But the byproduct of running a tech company is something that I'm very passionate about. So, Nate and I have spent 3-4 years really just filling up all of our weaknesses with strengths and bolstering the strengths we already had. Even producing wasn't something I really thought about doing. On Selma, the film that you mentioned earlier, I felt called of God to play that role. And then for 7 years, every day I would do something to kind of move the needle to get that film made. And then the film got made, I went, oh, that's producing. I can do that again. And so I've just done it several times now, both in TV and film. And so, it's a skill that's been born out of necessity.